Good evening, everyone. Please take your seats. It's fantastic to see so many OHs at the AGM. Usually we have a few less at the AGM and a few more at the drinks afterwards.
That's what came for, really.
Yes. So welcome. Just a little bit of admin. Well, firstly, very warm welcome. We are recording this year because it's going to go onto the website within minutes, hours maybe tomorrow. So, Dave, are we all set up with the recording?
Recording, and it is ready to go.
Fantastic. So, look, the objective is obviously to rattle through the AGM, but please, I will ask for feedback and questions. So please do let us know your thoughts, and then we are going to have a short eulogy from Jeremy Harding on behalf of Ralph Harding, our father of the club, who sadly passed away a few weeks ago. And then at the end we're going to have a presentation from Richard Anderson in respect of his new amazing book, hence the presentation projector behind us here. So,
I've paid him well.
yes, thank you very much. But look, I just wanted to start off by saying 2025 has been a fabulous year for the club, mainly thanks to the wonderful committee, especially Dave, our secretary, who's done a sterling job again, Victoria for the West Country lunch, David on the accounts, David on the golf, and possibly a few more to come later on in the evening in terms of committee members. And look, just as a snapshot, and we'll have a little bit of an update on the events, we started the year back in March with Derek's 90th birthday, Derek Blumen's 90th birthday, organised by the OHs and Nigel French, etc. So that was fabulous, and I know some of you have been to see him in Pinhay. Dave and I were there in the summer, and it was remarkable. He has got the stories, the intelligence, and everything that he's always had, which is amazing. So long may Derek continue. We had an amazing West Country lunch in Sidmouth. Thank you to all. Once again, really good turnouts. And again, we welcome your feedback. So if you're not quite sure it should be in Sidmouth or it should be somewhere else, please do let us know. I think the objective is to keep these events going and to get as many attendees as possible. And then a most incredible effort from you, Dave, in respect of the clay shooting, which I remember Richard doing many years ago. And it sort of died away a little bit over the last decade, but you've resurrected it. And it was incredible. Where was it again?
Well, it was at the Purbeck Shooting School.
Yeah.
And I can't take full credit for it this year because it was such a success because of Richard.
Sorry.
Richard, who runs the shooting down in
Yeah.
What's it called?
Charmouth.
The tunnel. Yeah. So he was very good.
But, well, thanks for orchestrating it, Dave, and getting the attendance. And then we had an amazing golf, thanks to David and JP and everyone else. And I think a highlight from what I could see was Steve White's hospitality at Roosden, and cricket in the garden late at night after a few glasses of wine. And then we've had various other gatherings. John Wong had an amazing gathering, other coffee and events as well, which is brilliant. So look, action-packed year, and here we are again at the Royal Society. This is our second year. We moved it from the RAC because the RAC was getting quite expensive, but we're going to come on to it a little bit later in respect of next year and maybe a few other options. Right, I think next on my agenda, which is slightly different than the one you've got, is I would just like to read out the names of the OHs that have sadly passed this year. So without further ado, we have Nigel Patrick Jenny, Dr. Piers Gardner, John Sinclair Banks, Dr. Ian Douglas Green, Robert James Chetwynd Talbot, John Allen Alfred Roberts, David Gerard Hayes, Major General Peter Chiswell, Francis Ernest Martin, Timothy George Lillies, Ralph Harding, father of the club, and more recently Peter Heron.
Peter Heron?
Yes, afraid so. Thank you. So, now, David.
Yeah, thank you.
Finances.
I shall be very brief. You've all got copies of the income and expenditure account for the year ended May of this year, and the financial position of the club is good. We are totally reliant upon those OHs who are generous and give annual donations to the club. But, of course, as a club with no new members and members passing on, our balance is going down from year to year. So it's very much a question of how many years we will be financially solid. I hope that these accounts will tell you everything, but I'm very happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, David. Any questions? I think if we keep going as we're going with the expenditure and the donations, another
10 years.
Another 10 years, hopefully longer.
Yeah, another 10 years.
But look, thank you, David. Yes, Richard.
So can I just ask about donations? Are those just money that people leave in their will to us, or is it?
No, the donations, annual charges, these are where OHs make a standing order and they pay so much per annum. So that they're not individual one-offs, they are all regular payments from OHs. And they vary from 50p a year, where somebody was probably paying when they left school 50 years ago to one or two people give £100 a year, but most of them are in the region of sort of £10 to £20 per annum on a regular payment. And that is what keeps the club going financially, because other than the little interest we get, we've got no other income.
Yeah. Well, look,
And of course we are, with events like this, the club is subsidising the cost of events like this. And that is one of the reasons why our balance is going down now quite quickly.
Yep, and it's a valid point, and maybe we can just have a quick chat later. I think we have made some significant savings, again, from the magazine especially, which was approved, I think, last year or the year before. But we'll probably come on to the London event a little bit later.
And if anybody hasn't paid for this evening, I've got the bank details, very happy to pass on to you.
Yes.
David, I think in the light of the figures we're going to be getting sometime next week from the Chancellor, I think it's delightful to see that we're still solvent, and I do congratulate you. I think
unless Rachel in accounts decides that Old Boys Club should have all their money confiscated, in which case we'll go down to the pub quickly and spend it.
Yeah.
Old boys and old girls.
Yes.
And girls, sorry.
Members.
Old persons.
Well, okay, thank you, David. But thank you very much, and thank you to everyone that's donated from here tonight and not here tonight from the club. Tor, would you like to say a few words on the West Country lunch?
Yes, I shall.
Thank you.
Hopefully you've all got a save the date card. If you don't, grab one from me. You can sign up with Dave or myself, or there'll be an online contact form. It's a really great event. I love it. It was about 60 of us last year. Some of us stayed as well and made a bit of a weekend of it. It's something like £35 for a 3-course meal. That's really good value. It's a great event. If you have any questions, get in touch with me on Dave.
Thanks, Tor. No, brilliant, amazing work, and looking forward to another and successful one next year. Thank you very much. Now, on to the golf, but David, before, we agreed a couple of years ago to fund the OH Golf by £500 a year. We've done it for 2 years. We're very keen to support the OH Golf further, so it's a recommendation from the committee to continue that £500 a year funding, certainly for this year, and hopefully no objections. No. Okay. David, over to you. Thank you.
Right, well that's better, I can see you. Well, thank you for not objecting to that. I think 2025 has been a pretty good year for us, I think. We are managing to maintain numbers, considerably assisted by Roddy coming back from South Africa, because he turns up for everything, which is fantastic. I think we've had a pretty good year. We started off in Cornwall. We stayed at Land Pydrock, where we had a 3-day, 2-night tour. Went very well. The highlight of our year is always the West Country Week, where we base ourselves in and around Lyme, and we play at Lyme. The golf championship is OH Golf Championship is at Lyme every year. This year won amazingly by the highest handicap player ever to play in the Old Boys Golf Society, which was Justin Tunstall. Some of you might remember him. I'm not even going to tell you what his handicap was because it was so atrocious. But I'm going to nobble him this next coming year. He's not going to get away with it this time. The thing to note about the West Country Week this year is that we had a fantastic time at Rooston, heavily helped by Steve White, who hired this fantastic place. I don't know how many people have been down and actually seen what they've done with it. The main school building has been divided into all sorts of extraordinary homes. And when I stayed in something called West House, which is basically half the main school, it's on 5 floors, 4 bedrooms, and our bedroom is about the size of this room. It's fantastic. So, we had a lovely time. We all stayed down there. Steve entertained us. He hired one of Hugh Fernley Whittingstall's chefs, and we had a dinner on the first night. Then we had a barbecue for everybody who was there, plus a few extra OHs as it went along. So it was a tremendous success. I'm going to try and do it. I'm going to do something like it this coming year. It's not going to be on such a grand scale, and I'm not going to be putting my hand in my pocket like Steve did. But I do want to record my thanks for Steve, because he really he did a great job on that. We finished off our golfing year in Brockenhurst in October, where one of our number, who is Bryn Shorey, he's a member there, so we had a good day there. And so, all in all, a very good year, I think. Next year, as I said, we're going to do the West Country Week again. I'm trying to organise something in Cornwall for May, but I'm struggling for numbers, to be honest. So hopefully I can sort something out on that, and we'll do 1 or 2 ad hoc days as well. So as always, we encourage everybody to come. You don't have to be any good whatsoever at golf, as Justin demonstrated. And so we'll hope to see. Hope we can keep this going, and we'll be well supported again.
Yeah.
So
Do you count his air shots?
Well, I played with him, and I made sure he didn't get away with anything. He still won.
Did he bring any cheese, though?
Did he do what?
Bring any cheese?
No, sadly, no. Yes, if you don't know Justin, he's a man who had a cheese shop in Lyme High Street,
Yes.
Which is no longer there, but so we had a bit of fun with that for a number of years. So anyway, that's all I've got to say.
Thanks, David. Yep, thank you. Thank you, David, and thank you to JP as well, who sadly can't be with us tonight. Right. David?
Right.
Website, magazine, social media?
And all things, really.
Yeah.
I can only say, really, what an inspiring year it's been. I continue to be inspired by Derek Blumen, actually. He's one of the great people who just occasionally writes to me. And I just think to myself, wow, he's still as sharp as he always was, which is wonderful, and we go and see him when we can. And I think that's what spurs all of us on, really, as a school club and all of these things, because actually what we all had and what we went through and all those things are actually something to be looked back on with quite a lot of interest and fun, and remember all those stories, because there's always stories, as we well know. And that's the thing that drives me as well. I record stories through videos or audio or whatever it is. We do it sometimes online, and most recently I did it with Neil Root about his book Shadow Side, which, if you haven't seen the book, it's quite fun. It takes you back to being at school, a totally different storyline, but it's wonderful, and his interview I think comes across really well and talks a bit about that. Obviously, I look after the website, social media, anywhere where somebody sends an email to me. I'm really lucky in that sense, because I get some of the most incredible emails from people all over the world, from Hong Kong, Shanghai, America, Canada, you name it, everywhere. And they've always got a story, and they've always usually got something they can send me. And one of the best things I had recently, and I'm yet to bring it in, which I hope to have soon, is the original copy of, and forgive me, I've forgotten the chap's name, but he was very instrumental in the early surveys of the Antarctic in sort of 1910, 13, that sort of time. And he set up the OH Club. And when I mentioned this to a number of OHs, they didn't know that he did this. And forgive me, I can't remember his name, but I will find out. And he has got the original, his register and record. In that was a letter which lays out the club, what it's all about, because he was the first president. Cecil something. The Cook was the main man with it's the chap who helped Cecil, somebody other. You might be able to, if you googled it, Cecil to do with the Antarctic. He's the man, and he was at Honiton School then in about 1902, 1, 3, whatever. But yeah, you often get these wonderful stories, and that's why I'm very lucky to be doing my role. And these are the kind of things that populate our website, populate the social media, and kind of feed into a narrative and a sort of stories that we are able to tell at events like this, and events like the West Country Lunch and everything. It's the characters. Going back to Derek, wonderful character, all these things, and he is one person who will be able to go to him and say, do you remember so-and-so who was there in 1965 to 70 or whatever, and he will know exactly which house they were in, whether they were good at rugby or cricket, all those kind of things. And that's the magic that I have as somebody who looks after the digital side and the website. Website's going really well. It is one of our, as you'll see, one of our expenditures. I think it works really well for what we do and what we have. It's a content bank going forward for digital library, as it were, of all the photographs, events, anything that happened at the school during its time there, and pre to that in Honiton as well. So that's really good. I think it's a very valuable asset, and I would always say that our website, is one of the things that is really valuable to us as a club, despite obviously the ongoing cost too. Our social media, which is there's two, if you look on social media, there's a number of different accounts. However, the one that you need to look at is the official Facebook, which if you go to that one, you'll see all the stuff that we put out, from interviews to events to documents, photographs, anything that comes in that I think is worthy of sharing, I'll put out there. Consequence to that is I'm building quite a large archive at home, which is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. At some point that will go to Honiton Museum, because I often say to people, thank you very much, please send it to me. I'll scan it, or try to, and then I will take it to the museum. So that's where that is. So it encompasses a lot of things. The magazine, obviously a couple of years ago, we took the decision to save costs because we were sending out over 1,000 magazines, and 30%, maybe more, coming back to me. People don't live there anymore, or worse. And so that was happening. So we just took the decision, why don't we send a thing out to everybody and say, if you would like a hard copy of the magazine, please let us know and we will send it to you. If you would like a digital one, we will send you the email with the digital thing, or it will just be on the website. People do slip through the net. So I had one recently, actually somebody who pays every month, and they said, I haven't had a magazine for 3 years, or 2 years, or whatever. I said, right, you obviously didn't see anything on socials and you didn't see anything like that, so that's fine, we will send you, and we will send you back catalogues of the magazines you missed. That's fine. So in answer to all these things, I think the website and the magazine is in a great state. I actually think when I talk to people, the club is in a really positive vibe going forward. I think we've got lots of events going on. The golf is magical. At Roosden, it was another level. It was an amazing place to be and see everybody enjoying themselves. And all the different things that we do. So I think more of that and more of the wonderful content that we get going out in socials. And forgive me, if you're not on social media, it doesn't matter. We will put it in the magazine. Generally speaking, there's a big crossover. So hopefully you're enjoying it. And as always, please, if you see something, or dare I say, if you find somebody has sadly passed away, please do let me know, because sometimes I hear from other people, did you hear about... I said, no, I didn't. So it's nice to know these things so we can document that properly as well. So if there's any questions about what I'm doing, then
yes.
Just a reminder, really, don't forget to mention the Salisbury Cathedral job in February.
Salisbury Cathedral, it's a very good one. That came out of a need to do something I thought relatively locally to me. It started off with just a matter of a few of us, wasn't it? And the last one was about 30. I think so.
We were there for about 4 hours.
Exactly, it was a wonderful day. It was really good, and what helped is they'd moved the refectory restaurant into the cathedral, so you were literally having coffee in the cathedral. It was lovely. But the refectory's back and up and running. It looks great now. So the next one will be that's second weekend of February. It's on the website. All the details are there.
Anyway, brilliant, Dave, and
thank you.
Tim.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
you very much.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Sitting out here from us lot looking in.
Well, the content is
you are the window of the OH Club, and you're doing such a fantastic
I think, thank you very much. I think I'm merely reflecting the mood of the club, and I think that's that's very valuable for all of us. It's that kind of idea that I won't mention a name, although I think you'll know who I'm talking about. He was talking about somebody he knew at another school alumni who was a school that's very much going, and this chap said to this person who's an OH, they're not as active as we are, and I think that's a really valuable point. We are, as a school that closed nearly 30 years ago, pretty active, which I think shows the spirit.
And you've
of the club.
done an amazing job, Dave, of capturing the content, which is online on the website, which will be there forever.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, so 2026 again shaping up, lots of events, and actually, sorry. What I was going to say, if you do organise your own events, do let us know. Do send through the photos, videos. We had an event with our year. In Lyme, I think there was 8 of us. I hadn't seen 5 of them since 1998, for example. So incredible. So do keep going in your small groups. Just let us know. Send a few photos, and we'll put it on the official page and the website. So 2026, yes, we've got lots of events shaping up again. All the ones that we know and love, and hopefully a few others. I just want to sort of put it to the floor on 2 of the key events. We'd like some feedback. The memorial service. So for the last few years, we've had it in St Paul's in Honiton, which has worked pretty well. I know previously, and Peter, this could have been your era, could have been Roddy's, could have been Richard's, I can't quite remember. We did do a small memorial service at All Hallows or at Rooston, outside. We had a bigger lunch. We went up to the school, we laid the wreath, we read out the names, we said a prayer. Now, has anyone got an opinion on whether we stick at St Paul's in Honiton or we go back to All Hallows and have a shorter service? Any views?
Well, I
yes,
think
Dudley.
if people travel a reasonable distance,
yeah.
you want a bit of meat to the whole thing rather
Yeah.
than a quick
Yeah.
half an hour and push off.
Yes.
I think the lunch works well at the Hare and Crown.
Yeah. Okay. So you're in favour of sticking at Honiton and?
No, it's not selfish.
Yeah. No.
Like the memorial service in Hampshire.
And Tim, you're close to your heart, close to your home.
Yeah, I've just got a question more.
Yeah.
Can we get in the All Hallows Chapel?
Is it? I don't think it is it's not a chapel anymore.
I mean, the service was held, I think we could talk about the one outside the memorial in Rooston.
Yes.
And I think that was done on the anniversary, 100th anniversary, was it 2026? The time to do the commemoration of the first festival, which was quite special. I mean, if you could use the hotel, which I presume is still in operation, as your venue for a meal.
Yeah.
And then to walk out
yes.
to the Triangle.
The memorial and
have the service there and open to me service with maybe a bugle, which would be quite effective.
Hopefully it won't be raining and hopefully there won't be a mist.
Rooston mist.
But okay.
I think St Paul's is beautiful. It's
Yeah.
a beautiful church. It's a great venue, and it is really, really special that we're
Yes.
able to use that space.
And the memorial boards are just across the road in the museum, of course.
Yeah.
And I suppose Chris Valens has been amazing for the last few years. I think. Yes.
I think if you can't get Chris,
yeah.
who will do it?
That's the question. And
David
Chris
Shaw.
is. No one's getting any younger.
David Shaw, maybe.
Yep, maybe he's.
There was one year, which, and I can't remember which year it was, but we did have the memorial at the school, and I think it had much more meaning than being remote in a sense. Okay,
yes.
Honiton has got a lot of history, but it certainly
resonated. Yeah.
It had much more meaning, I think.
Because Rich, we had it next to the pavilion, didn't we?
No, at the school.
Oh.
By the wall.
Yeah.
We had a lunch in the village hall at Rooston, which is opposite the gates. Now, whether that's possible to organise again, I don't know. But we had a certain amount of sort of inside assistance on that. But
Well, we might have to do a wider, cast the net wider to see.
I mean, the only other thing, sorry, which is that counted to that, and I'm not really supporting it, those OHs who fell in the First World War obviously went to school at Honiton.
Yes.
And those in the Second World War had probably spent a bit of their time at Honiton.
Yeah.
So
True.
There is
Okay.
a connection still with history.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. And then the last part on 2026 is this event. So 2 years at the Royal Society. Not too bad. Very nice. Especially if you're scientifically Stephen. But look, we've had a very kind offer from Steve White, who I don't think's here yet.
Not here yet.
So to utilise the Army and Navy, maybe to run a slightly bigger event, a lunch, a dinner. Hey Richard, come on in. And perfect timing. It may cost the club a little bit more. It may cost you a little bit more. It could be a more significant event in more opulent surroundings. We may shift, depending on your view, the AGM part to an online event rather than combining it with the party, because people just possibly think it's all a bit boring and it's all about the AGM, but it's more about the cocktail and the drinking and the eating. Any thoughts? Bigger event? Yep.
I like having a live AGM.
Live. Thanks, George. Well, and it's great to see so many here, but okay, live event, yeah. Steve.
I'm not sure there will be that much, if any, opposition to just a nominal extra amount for each ticket if it
Yeah.
went a different venue or what
Yeah.
have you. I think it's very much up to the committee's decision.
Yeah.
But I don't, for a few pounds more, I'm not sure you're going to get that much of a drop out.
Because last year was 3,000, just over 3,000, and the previous year was RAC. There was a pushback from parts of the club because we spent 4,000 plus. Should we? And Steve, thanks for dropping in. We were just mentioning the Army and Navy, and maybe we'll put it to the club with costings and wait for the feedback. But it could be quite significant.
It's just
Round.
2 minute walk.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Brilliant. Right. Last couple of things, and then we're moving on to Jeremy and then obviously Richard. But so just the rules of the club are on the website if you are interested to see them. And three things I'd like to say tonight. Technically, by the book, I've served my first term, incredibly, 3 years. I know some of you keep missing me at various events, but I am here tonight. I have obviously like a sort of busy life. But look, I am happy to do one more term if you are happy, and I'll try and be at most events. Of course, if there is anyone that would like to step in, Dave, Tim, I don't know, please do come forward. But if there's no objection, then I'm happy to continue.
Good.
Any objection? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And I think for David and David, actually, Peter, you'll remember that actually you're continuous until somebody says...
Until I can't balance
well,
the books.
Yeah, and the same with you, Dave.
Until I can't balance.
Well, unless there's any objections, but no, I'm sure there's not. Yeah. And then we would like one new member of the committee, Tim Huxtable. Thank you very much. To become our West Country Secretary. Tim lives down in Honiton and is a massive supporter for the West Country Lunch with Tor and the memorial service and networking down there and trying to get the younger generation especially to be more connected. So thanks for Tim. I know you haven't really said yes, but sorry, you're in. It's on the website already. And then I think just conclude with AOB. Any questions, Dudley? Yes.
Yeah. Well, first of all, many thanks to the committee for everything. And secondly, on the passing of Ralph,
Yeah.
Bearing in mind his connection with Honiton and Richardson, which is rather a unique one, and in virtue of his age, 99, I propose that we ought to have a plaque in the museum to recognise this, and also, don't worry Jeremy, we'll leave a space for you. And because there were several other Hardings, weren't there, who attended?
Yeah,
They were
quite a lot.
A lot,
A lot.
yeah,
A lot.
It would be a nice gesture to have.
With all Hardings listed.
They're all in the
Not necessarily, but
Just Ralph.
and family who attended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice
Yeah.
idea.
You could liaise with his daughters anyway, for details.
That's lovely.
I
Jeremy.
do that. And
Yeah.
he does have, Ralph knew Margaret Lewis, the curator of the Palace Museum, and speak to her and see if she agreed to
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Fabulous. No,
We were in there
great.
last week, and we presented a cup that wasn't related to the school, but was related
Yeah.
to Ralph's family and winning an agricultural trophy at that Honitton show. So,
Yeah.
that, and it might be somewhere they could put a plaque next
Yeah.
to Richard Banfield's. The Richard Banfield, who I was at school with,
Right.
died in the Fort Carrier.
Yeah. Fabulous. Thanks, Dudley. Brilliant. Any other questions, queries, recommendations? No? Okay. Jeremy, would you like to say a few words?
I was going to say a few words at the memorial service in St Paul's in Honiton last week, but I think this is probably just as good an opportunity. Ralph was a devoted OH. He only died 5 weeks ago, and he was buried last week. And he was buried in his OH blazer. I've got this one. This was his, and I had to pluck up courage to wear it. But it's a good jacket there as well, isn't there? Really, it's a steampunk design of Mondrian
It's a
painting.
famous Spanish artist, isn't it? They keep getting told I'm a walking piece of art.
Mondrian, he was a Dutch artist. Mondrian. Yeah, he was a Dutch painter. Yeah. Ralph was 99, and like a lot of cricketers, he was very upset not to get the extra run to take him to 100, but to get 99 is worthy. And being father of a club, he was very honoured by Peter's idea to make him the father of the club, and that meant a lot to him. I think Peter's idea was that you have a father in the House of Commons, and looked up to see who the present father of the House of Commons is, and it's not. It's Sir Edward Lee, who's a Thatcherite, who's been an MP since 1983. The other MP that has been could have been, but it's the order in which you're registered as an MP, and Jeremy Corbyn would have been if Sir Edward Lee. I know that who Ralph would prefer to. He'd prefer a Thatcherite to a Corbynite. Yes, but his time at the school started in 1936 when he was actually only 9, and at that time George Shallow was the headmaster. He'd been headmaster at the school since 1934, and Ralph told me that he was quite anxious about going to the school to keep up the family tradition, because his father and 3 brothers had been at the school, as well as Ralph and his three brothers, one of them being my father, Frank. But he went there, and in 1938 is when the school packed up and moved to Roosden. George Shallow bought the Peaks Manor, which we'll hear a bit about from Richard later. Richard's father was actually at school with Ralph, and he was involved in the move to All Hallows, which took place over a few months, and Ralph would tell stories about busloads of the boys going out and doing all the work, like clearing the cowpats off the playing fields and starting up there was a farm there, and so the war starts in the next 1939, the next year, and that changed everything for when the world goes mad, and school kept on running, and with rationing and things, because Ralph was from a farming family, they got Ralph looking after the chickens, and apparently Napier, who was his housemaster and baker, bought 200 chickens, and Ralph made sure they all got eggs and things to eat. And he was also put in charge of the potato patch as well, so they started growing potatoes. As well as this, his initial war effort was to do with spotting. They'd go up the tower at the school at Roosden, and they'd be watching planes coming in to bomb Plymouth, and Ralph would be up there for 2-hour shift once a week, right through the night, sort of spotting whether it was a German bomber or an English one. And so when Ralph was at school, he was a great sportsman, but in the last few years he was always disappointed that he never got his cricket colours, because his father always made him go back to Devizes to help with the harvest, so he missed the cricket season. And when he left in 43, he went back to farming in Devizes and joined the RAF. He joined the Home Guard, and he was very disappointed that he went for his medical in Bristol, hoping to be called up. You know, he wanted to join in the fighting, but he was sort of relieved, I think, in some ways, when they dropped the bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, that the war came to an abrupt end, and he never actually did get called up, but he served in the Home Guard and managed to become a captain and left in the early 50s. His life after school was in farming. He worked as a farmer in Wiltshire, and he played a lot of sport. He played mainly tennis, but he used to represent the OHs at hockey particularly, and there was a time, I think, when he and his two brothers, Percy and John Harding, were the half-back line in hockey, and they had a good record of never being beaten by the school. He played hockey for Wiltshire and played tennis up until he was in his 90s. All along he was got married to Pauline in 1953, and unfortunately they managed to celebrate their marriage of 70 years together, and then she died in late 23, and Ralph managed to live another 18 months or so before he died. They had 4 children, and his 2 daughters came to the memorial service in Honiton last week. And after he always sort of used to talk to me about the school motto, you know, prolong renown through deeds, and he interpreted that as if you talk the talk, you've got to walk the walk, you know, and I think that's what it means. And he did a great many good things for the school, through the OH club, and he also did a lot of good things for the farming community, and also did voluntary work in devices for a long time at the hospital, and he was still doing that in his 90s. So goodbye Ralph, really, and I'm sure that he lies there in his coffin with the old boys blazer on him, and he'll be singing the school songs and things.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeremy.